Hi everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA with me, Seamus Brady, your host, and for this video we are going to run through all of the upcoming fixtures in the first round of matches in the Allianz Hurling League of 2023. Do like, subscribe, share and comment if you haven't already. It really helps us out here on the channel, and let's crack on with these predictions. The first game that I'm going to talk about is probably the one that jumps off the page the most. The All-Ireland Hurling Champions of 3 All-Ireland titles in a row, starting off their season 2023, travelling away to Páirc Uí Chaoimh to face their rivals Cork. What do I think about this game? Honestly, difficult to know. Limerick over the last couple of years have not tried in the league, really, nowhere near the level that they could have tried. It's obviously a new start for Cork, new management team there, Pat Ryan. Who is he going to bring into the side? Obviously, the talent that Cork have coming through is sensational. The likes of Ethan Toomey, the likes of Ben Cunningham. Will those guys get a run out in these games? I'll be very, very interested to see. Because Cork are at a little bit of a crossroads with players like Patrick Horgan, like Seamus Hannity, where they are still brilliant hurlers, but it's been pretty clear over the last few years that Cork right now aren't at the level where they can go and win an All-Ireland. So they need to bring in these young lads. They need to back them and they need to believe and put trust into them. Limerick, on the other hand, as I said, look, they've been beaten and they've started poorly the league the last couple of years, but then gone on to win the All-Ireland. Wexford beat them in the opening game of the league last year, to my memory. And yeah, I think Cork are going to beat them in this one. I don't think Limerick will treat the game with as much respect as Cork will. I think Cork under Pat Ryan are going to want to make a statement, and beating Limerick would be a fantastic start to his tenure. I'm going to go with Cork just based off of that. The second game then, Antrim against Kilkenny in Corrigan Park, Belfast. Obviously, Derek Ling's first game as Kilkenny boss. The post-Brian Cody era for Kilkenny begins against Antrim in Corrigan Park, a very difficult place to go. I mean, you think about Clare going up there a couple of years ago. Clare got beaten. Wexford barely got a draw out of that place. It's a very difficult place to go. Dublin have had their troubles up there. Waterford got a scare up there as well. For Kilkenny, as an opening day game for Derek Ling as boss, it's a very difficult one. I do not envy him that one in the slightest. I am going to go with a Kilkenny victory, though. I just think Derek Ling's first game, he's going to look for a bounce. He's going to look for, some serious pedigree from these players. Kilkenny have a lot of hurlers that have been very close to breaking into the side under Brian Cody that haven't, and I think those lads are going to come to the fore a lot in this game, and they're going to scrape out a victory, though, because Antrim will be no pushovers. The next one then, Wexford against Galway at Wexford Park. Dara Egan against Henry Shefflin in the managerial dugouts. Who do I think is going to win this one? Well, Shefflin and Kilkenny's a very interesting thing, because Shefflin obviously last year, first year in the job, obviously had the whole Brian Cody fiasco where it was their rivalry was overshadowing a lot of Galway's games. Now this year he can really put his shoulder to the wheel and just focus purely on now implementing his ideas. Galway have some serious talent coming through as well. You think of the likes of Donald O'Shea, you think of the likes of Tomas Mannion, you think of the likes of even Fintan Burke that are now established in the Galway side. Obviously, Evan Nyland is one that I've been touting is going to be a huge prospect. Wexford, on the other hand, Rory O'Connor had his breakthrough last year where he really, really stamped himself as one of the top forwards in the country. You've got the likes of Ross Banville coming through as well, who looks like serious, serious talent. This is going to be a tough game to call because, as I said in the Cork-Limerick preview, Wexford took the opening game against Limerick last year very, very seriously, and they beat them, and they put a lot of pride into that. Then they went away to Clare. I think they got a draw down there. Or they beat Clare away, I believe, off the top of my head. Coming up against Galway, I think it's a really, really difficult one to call. Obviously, they drew in the championship in Wexford Park last year. Obviously, there was that whole fiasco about how long Lee Chin took to take the free versus how long Conor Cooney took to take the free. I am going... It's a really hard one to call. I'm going to go Galway. Galway by a couple of points. That's what I'm saying. The next one then, Tipperary against Laois in Semple Stadium in Thurles. Obviously, Liam Cahill's first game really as Tipperary boss. Laois, on the other hand, the post-Cheddar Plunkett era. What is that going to start off with? I think a defeat. I can see nothing other than a Tipperary win here. Liam Cahill, new in the job. Obviously, there's that whole fiasco that, let's be honest, it was obvious from day one that he was eventually going to take the Tipperary job, and it did confuse me as to why Waterford, let him be their manager when it was obvious he was going to go back to Tipperary in the end. the whole fiasco with the Colin Bonner sacking. So it's going to have to start well for Tipperary, because if they have a bad year when they kicked up that much of a fuss about getting Liam Cahill in, it won't look great. So I'm going to predict that Tipperary win this game pretty comfortably and get off to a good start under Liam Cahill. The next one then, Clare against Westmeath at Cusack Park in Ennis. Obviously, I'm going with Clare to win this one. I think Westmeath have made fantastic strides under Fortune. I think they have really proven themselves that they are on the rise. You look at the likes of Killian Doyle, you look at the likes of Tommy Doyle in defence. They have proven that they are on the rise, but coming up against the Clare side here, I think it's just going to be too difficult. Clare have so much players coming through. Shane Meehan's only 19 years of age, broke through last year, looked incredible. He could be 20 now as I'm recording this, but broke through at 19 last year, looked incredible. Then you've got other stars there like Shane O'Donnell, Tony Kelly, John Conlon again strapped in for another year, Conor Cleary, David Fitzgerald, an all-star winner last year. They just have so much talent. I'm going to go with Clare to win this one. I just think it's too much of an ask for Westmeath. If they pull it off, fair play to them. And then the last game in Division 1, Waterford against Dublin at Fraher Field. 2 new beginnings. Davy Fitzgerald obviously starting off as Waterford boss for the second time. Remember, he was manager of Waterford back in the late 2000s. Now he's manager of them again at the start of the 2023 season. What do I think is in store for this one? Obviously, Micheál Donoghue, the new Dublin manager, former Galway All-Ireland winning manager, going away to Fraher Field. What do I think is in store here for Dublin? Very, very difficult to call. I don't know. I think I'm going to go with a Waterford victory. My heart says Dublin, my head says Waterford. I think it's too difficult a task for Dublin to go away to the Daisha, to Fraher Field, where Davy Fitzgerald is going to look for a bounce. He's going to want a first win under their belts straight away. They look very good in the preseason competition, Waterford. The talent that they have coming through as well. Obviously, Pádraig Mahony's retirement's not ideal, but they still have the likes of Desi Hutchinson. I will be fascinated actually to see will the likes of Patrick Fitzgerald to get a run out. Obviously, we have a comment here from Ninja Hyper, says, yay, Waterford. Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting a victory for them, to be completely honest. I think I'd be fascinated to see if Paddy Fitzgerald gets a run out. I mean, his form for Ballygunner was just absolutely incredible. I am going with Waterford to win this one narrowly. I think Dublin will put up a good fight, but I don't think it will be a winning start. I think it will be a winning start for Davy Fitz. Ultimately, what the league is going to struggle with this year is the fact that who is going to take the league seriously? Because Waterford took the league seriously last year. They won the league and then they got trounced in the championship because they had, in my opinion, they had nothing left in the tank. The league and the championship are so close together. And if you actually look last year, Limerick completely took the league off and have done for the last 2 years. And they've then exploded in the championship and gone on to win the All-Ireland. You look at Kilkenny, again, they pretty much sat the league out last year. They got beaten in the semi-final by Cork, didn't really give it their all, and then they absolutely smashed the championship. Look at Clare, again, didn't really go for the league that much, had a lot of players out, and then when championship came around, they were on fire. So it's going to be interesting to see who takes the league seriously and who doesn't. There's new managers galore that want to get off. You know, you think of David Fitz, Micheál Donoghue, Liam Cahill, Derek Ling, Pat Ryan at Cork. All these new managers are going to want to get their new season, their new era off to a perfect start by getting some victories in the Allianz League. So it's going to be interesting to see how serious these teams take it. Will it affect their championship ambitions for 2023? Only time will tell. That's my first round preview here on Play on GAA, guys. Thank you so much for giving me your time. And until the next one,